Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of Siege of the Empire. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it and see what's going on with everybody, make sure everybody's back, all that other fun stuff.
Also, you're totally pulling a Hannibal now.
I mean, eh. No one really asked what we're doing, especially when she told everyone what to do, and then y'all just kind of assumed that Marilla's gonna do something on her own.
I think that is indicative as to how they feel about it.
Indeed. So,
Like, the princess wants to go get herself killed. Who are we to stop her?
right.
Okay, I don't need Morella anymore.
Yep. So,
Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and get back into it. Except, we're gonna go back to Hannibal, Jericho, and Aelin.
That's right, you are.
So Hannibal, Jericho, and Aelin, you all are going to go scour the merchant district in search for.
I think this might be a good point to use my potion.
Okay, yeah. So you want to try and use your potion for this inevitable searching.
Looking for Doc Manic.
Okay, fantastic.
Erasing it from there.
All right, so you go ahead and use your potion, and it gives you advantage on your survival checks to track down Doc Manic. But I do need to ask, how do you go about tracking him down? And just I'm going to give you some hints here as a reminder. You know he needs a location of a certain type. It needs to be able to have certain things with it. That may narrow down what exactly you're looking for.
Would I know what an alchemist house would need?
I mean, yeah, you're an alchemist yourself, right? You need,
yeah.
What do you think an alchemist, like a good
large space? We need an underground part, especially for the noisy people.
Huh?
Fireproof.
He's probably going to want fireproof now, so most likely a stone building.
Right. That's 100% reasonable to assume.
What else? He would need preferably a place where you can have a fire, a large one. Basically, just lots of space, not easily burnt down.
Have we considered asking, hey, anybody seen an orc?
You might not want to ask about Doc Manic.
I mean, we're going to sooner or later.
Yeah, just keep it though. And remember, it's people tend to act weird when his name is brought up.
From the sound of it, that's sensible.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you ready? Break. Aelin, don't do anything.
Well, you're clearly the expert on what we should be doing right now, so yes. I think you've got the lead on that.
Right. So if you want to make a survival check based on the criteria that you have said you are looking for, go ahead and roll me a survival check just to kind of get the general need to, or like a good area, or maybe what specifically you're looking for. Everybody else can chip in here as well.
Yeah, I think while Hannibal, being our resident alchemist, knows what we're looking for, Jericho possibly will have a better idea of where buildings and locations like that can be found in the city.
Absolutely.
Thank God.
Well, he also seems to fancy himself some sort of medical individual, so possibly Aelin could be helpful in that regard, knowing what
that's true.
That
help
might be required. So yeah. It could help.
I mean, he might find your ideas about hygiene quaint.
So yeah.
Right.
I think that in that case, well, I actually don't want a survival roll from the two of you because you're looking for different criteria.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I should probably make like a medicine.
Yes, exactly. Aelin, make a medicine check for me to see, like, to find a suitable location where he might be looking for with that in mind. And Jericho, why don't you make me maybe a history check to see, because you're relying upon your knowledge of the city. So I think that history is appropriate for you. There you go. Cool.
Someone saved us.
So you don't have a great time pulling together like the information that you have, Hannibal, is incomplete.
Yeah.
Perhaps there are some things that you've missed, which there are probably some things that I'm looking for that you missed to lower the DC, but you did roll a 5 or an 8 anyway, so so you're struggling on finding all of the correct criteria in a specific location. Like, you get to one and it's got a big enough space, but it's also like a wood warehouse. And then you get to another one that doesn't have an underground portion, and so you're kind of striking out on all that. Aelin, you rolled a 12, which isn't terrible, but I think that the locations that you gravitate towards are already occupied. In fact, there are probably a lot of people that are at some of the clinics and medicine locations here that are being seen for the chaos last night. Because remember, not everything in this city is undead and chaos. Like, there are actual living beings and that need tending to.
Oh God.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a problem.
Right. So and I think
no,
that
like, for reals.
I think that your 12 is representative of the fact that you get distracted, and like stop looking for a while to like stop and help some people who are in need.
5 hours later, we find Aelin.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
No,
Um,
but really.
She has 12 new best friends.
She has lost all of her spell slots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All gone. All.
Whoops.
Spent them on making friends. Good and loyal people.
Or saving people. That's good.
Yeah.
The thing that I think comes to Jericho's mind is that I'm not sure how much Hannibal was considering their materials that Doc Manic is going to want, and being able to receive or acquire stuff probably from other craftspeople.
Yep. 100%. That was. Remember when I said there was a couple things that Hannibal may have missed? That's definitely one of them. Materials are important, and so
I'm thinking he might want to be in the area where there are other like alchemist guilds or whatever. Whoever will be providing him with the stuff that he wants.
Right. Exactly. And I think that is relative of your 22. Is you have the right direction to go, and eventually you arrive and you see that you're probably over in this particular area of the merchant district. There's a location over here that has running water very close by. It has there's a building with like a good ventilation. It looks like it was maybe an old probably an old blacksmith's forge, actually. And that's great for heating up materials to desired temperatures. It's obviously designed not to burn to the ground. And then it has a large attachment building behind it that has multiple different rooms and stuff for keeping people, etc., etc. And it is, like I said, it also has running water because you need that kind of stuff if you're running a blacksmith. And it also has a fair amount of materials, both illicit and non. Because another thing that I probably haven't mentioned a whole lot here is illicit herbs and pharmaceuticals are not a thing we talk about a lot in this game. In particular because the Empire keeps a pretty heavy rein on that kind of stuff. But there absolutely are different types of drugs, and most commonly these herbs, poultices, drugs are used by orcs and goblins. They're the big purveyors of them. And
bless you.
And dark elves, if that matters to anyone in the moment.
Those sons of bitches.
Why would it matter?
And so, exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care.
Exactly. And so I think that perhaps as you're traveling down, you see a cart being pushed. And it hits a bump and a bag of mushrooms kind of spills out onto the ground. And you see the individual like bend down and pick him up. And when his hands come out of his robes, you see that the color of his skin is green. He's very small in stature. Maybe you thought he was a halfling at first. But it's very clear that he might be a goblin. And so Jericho getting you guys into the right area has allowed you to see this. And as the individual picks up all the things off the cart, begins wheeling it towards a location, you see him enter this blacksmith building with a bunch of mushrooms, which obviously isn't probably what should be going into a blacksmith. And you assume that maybe you're in the right location now. Maybe you have a good idea of this might be where your quarry is hanging out.
So this is what I'm saying here, Hannibal. That goblin just dropped a bag of mushrooms, but are they mushrooms or are they like baby orcs?
History check, please.
Again, it's one of those things you can choose to believe it or not.
I've heard some stuff in the last few months.
They're orc eggs.
I thought you didn't. I'm just raising the possibility. Seriously?
Yeah.
It's terrifying. What do we do?
Here, I could show you. I take out another orc smut novel, a different one. See, the eggs come out from here.
God. All right. So, are we following him?
Yeah. We shouldn't
Fantastic.
sneak in. It's best to just. He knows my face. However, he might have forgotten. I don't know. I'm not too distinctive.
Jericho's checking just to see if that was serious.
It's hard to tell with Hannibal, I think.
It is. I'm waiting for any kind of cue.
Let's go.
Probably just as well Aylin is still at the clinic.
Yeah, that's a good question, Aylin. Were they able to drag you away because they found a location or anything like that?
I feel as though, although I would like to be with them, Aylin would have stopped.
So, your idea was to perhaps get distracted and then meet up with them later, right?
Yeah.
Good. Great. I'm gonna move you away from them then.
Oh, so devoted a character.
Guys,
So-
I'm sorry. It's just
No,
how
you're
it would
not.
happen. It's how it would happen.
I mean,
She walked by a hospital. It's all over now.
You're fucking not sorry. Don't you fucking say that.
It's all over now. Okay, so Hannibal, is your plan to go up and knock on the door again?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you head over there and you knock on the door. And after a few moments, you can hear some like moving around and shuffling around. A robed individual dressed almost identically to the man with the deformed hand kind of opens the door, and you can see that, for lack of a better term, this man's nose has fallen off, and simply just has like holes that go into his nostril or his the cavities in his face that where his nose would be.
Bet Aylin could cure that.
And he kind of opens the door and he says, "Yes, what is it?"
Yes, sir. I'm here to see Dr. Manic.
And Jericho, I assume you're still...
Tell him why.
There's interest in me becoming his servant.
Yeah, he kind of like looks you up and down and kind of like gazes and he says, "Yes, I think that he would enjoy you nicely. Hold one moment while I go get him." And he kind of closes the door. And as the door was open, and you can see that shuffling back and forth are maybe 5 or 6 individuals of all different statures that are like carrying crates back and forth, and like you can see that the inside of what is like this residential home almost. The table has like been shoved to the side, and like there's like an operating table being set up in the dining area. It appears Doc Manic is setting up a new location for himself. And then the door shuts, and you can just hear kind of the scraping and moving noises coming from inside. You all have a moment. Do you say anything, or do you just patiently wait for someone to come out?
Remember, he thinks that I was Griswolda's servant.
Yes, I remember. That's why we're... Garulda.
Who?
No, that's probably best for your character. It's just... So... I will also have been associated with her, but deeply disappointed in her methods, and so have come to him seeking a resolution to her disappearance, because I think she's gone into hiding. Right? And what we're looking for here is information on how to get her out of hiding and destroy her.
Yes, it didn't seem like they were on the best of terms.
Fantastic. I'm really glad we discussed all this before we came in here.
Me too.
We're just flashing back to that now.
He can't overhear you in the other room.
Fantastic.
Speaking of which you may kill Dogmatic.
So I think that you all like give the nod, like, yeah, this is a good story. And the door opens, and we can see the same figure as before, kind of like bowled up, as bigger than the door frame. His shoulders kind of disappear to the sides of the door frame. Very massive individual kind of stands there. He's got these little glass spectacles on, and you can see that the his arm hanging by his side is that gauntlet that he wears. That kind of has these hypodermic needles that come out with this. You can see that they're actually filled now, Hannibal, and they weren't before. You can see that one is filled with like a greenish substance, the other is like a purplish substance. One of them is a bluish substance, and one of them is like a pinkish substance. There's 4 of them that kind of stick out from his fists. And he's like, "Oi, what you want?"
Hello, Dr. Manic.
"Oh yes, the one with the messed up face. You are Gorulda's, no?"
My God, how did he recognize you?
Yes, I was.
Was she not satisfied with her potions?
We can't find her.
Difficult to determine that given her disappearance. I was saying that.
Sorry.
Who are you?
Also, unfortunately, previously working with Gorulda. Apparently, you haven't heard what happened?
That wasn't the question I asked you.
Methuen Redfen. Native to the city?
I'm Han Solo.
Yeah, I think he kind of evaluates and nods. Roll me a deception check, though. Doc Manic is nothing but intelligent. That's obviously for Jericho.
Can I give him my inspiration?
He doesn't need
He's
it.
not going to need it. He is not going to need it. So he probably looks you up and down too, and he says, "Aye, it's a good strong build. You could be useful too. Bit of magic in there, I see. Interesting. Haven't had a mage in some time to practice. Say, are you looking for a job?"
Of a type. Previously, I was working with Gorulda, but I found her substantially less ambitious than I was hoping that our new overseers would be. You seem like someone who would have more direction to his work. Unfortunately, Gorulda still has her claws in things, despite having disappeared entirely. But when I heard Han here speaking of you...
Han.
So tell me. Pretty face, yes. Yeah, she would like that. Or he. I never can get them straight sometimes. You, one with the messed up face. Tell me, were you able to deliver the potions at the very least? And also, what do you know of this disappearance? I have heard but rumors. I have been quite busy with my own troubles, as you can see.
Yes, I saw your place. Do you know what happened?
No, but I can't wait to find out. And he, smiles this big toothy grin. And you can see, the big incisors, jutting up from his lower jaw. It's a little bit maniacal and probably a tad bit frightening. But you all are hardened adventurers. I'm sure that doesn't bother you at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This might literally be the first orc that Jericho's ever met.
Possible.
I was going back to deliver when I heard a ruckus. I came as quickly as I could, but it was already over.
Aye, and that great big pig beast. Was he there?
I saw him run away.
Ah, coward.
He seemed to appear out of nowhere in front of the door.
Yeah, and you can see him, he's like, come, let us not talk on the stoop. Come on in. And he kind of throws the door open for you to come in.
I'll go on.
Yep. Yep.
And so you enter in and he begins leading you through the house, and you can see that most of the furniture and stuff that's been moved away is not necessarily to put new things, but it's so that he can move around, because again, he's massive. For anyone that knows anything about orc biology, they basically just keep growing. They don't ever stop growing. They are basically just like the Hutts in Star Wars.
They're snakes.
Or mushrooms, which also just keep growing forever. And so it's hard, a little bit harder to tell an orc's age by like their facial features or their hair or anything like that. But mostly you can tell by their size. And Doc Manic is very clearly an older orc, based on how massive he is. And he kind of gets
long gray with.
Yeah, he gets to the stairs and he kind of like turns sideways and has to like shuffle up them, but beckons for you to join him. And when he gets up there, you're led to a bedroom that's kind of been set up like an office. You can see where like a large desk has been slid in front of a bed, and the bed has kind of been made into like there's a surrounding like of pillows and cushions, so that it's basically a large chair at this point. And you can see Doc Manic, he kind of slides back and he sits down, and you see he takes out a quill and very delicately like touches it to his tongue and dips it in an ink bottle. And you see he begins going through papers and stuff that are in front of him, every so often like adjusting his little spectacles. And the group of you walk in, and there's a couple of chairs kind of smattered throughout the room, and as you sit in, he says, there, sorry, had to take care of that real quick. So tell me, when you arrived, did you see perhaps a young boy?
I saw a group leaving, and they had a young boy with.
Group, you say? Who were they?
They're too dark. I saw, like, you see Hannibal kind of like make a little bit of a show of thinking. One of them, I believe, had horns of some kind. I remember that he was wearing something on his head.
Horns, you say? How many of them were there?
3.
3 of them. I see. Go ahead and roll me a deception check.
I'm gonna use my Tides of Chaos.
Sure. It's probably a good idea.
Wow.
I actually have to compete against that real quick.
Wow. Oh my god.
I mean, it's still better than what I've rolled so far.
Those 3 and a fucking 2. God.
All right.
Using skills you're actually good at.
Oh, PCs win ties.
Oh!
PCs win ties. You're lucky.
Holy shit, wow.
So yeah, so he kind of like for a moment, and Jericho, I think you feel the sweat drip down your neck. Like, he's not certain, but he finally he nods and he says, very well. Anything else you can tell me about these individuals?
I think some more. I'm sorry. I didn't want to approach.
Very well, very well. Probably some of the resistance members. Yes. Well, this young boy, well, he's not all that he seems, of course. I believe he is the host to the one we talk of as Garuda. Interesting lot, that one. Unique, certainly. I would love to get my hands on it and perhaps figure out exactly how everything works inside.
I was under the impression that it was fairly typical demonic fashion, wasn't it not?
Yes, but even with the magical arts, especially the demonic ones, it is not uncommon to have a little bit of scientific application, you understand. Mostly in the swaying of people's hearts and minds. That is something I am interested in.
Unfortunately, I was not required for Garulda's services that night, I had been sent to participate in conduct at the former temple. Otherwise, I would have had a better chance to see to it that someone who actually paid attention to things might have been able to note what had been transpiring there.
Interesting. Well, it sounds as though our paths might align here. I would say this. I propose a trade of sorts. If you can find me this boy, bring him to me. I will grant you something of equal value. I have much at my disposal, but it is determined upon you what you may want.
I'm seeking the opportunity to conduct the research, not quite like yours, I suppose, but broaden my understanding of matters that were considered unacceptable under the city's prior rulership.
I think he laughs a big bellowing, ha 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 ha. Yes, indeed. We are of a like mind, friend. I think that we can come to terms. Is it information, perhaps data that you desire? Understand that there is some proprietary information that I cannot part with, but I can give you some basics to get you on your way. Perhaps save you the legwork, as it were.
That is definitely an interesting proposal, but of course, if it were entirely to my choice, I would have sought you out prior to now. Garulda does have something of a hold over my house. I would like to be certain of where she is and what she can do. Her disappearance is concerning.
I think the disappearance that you speak of is no so more as a simple illusion. This is why I want the boy. It will be a rare opportunity for me to have, let's say, an upper fist on her. And he kind of like cracks his knuckles with his gauntlet, and you can hear the like clinking of his hypodermic needles.
Horrifying.
Yeah, and I think he says, "Aye, that boy is the key to things." Certainly.
I kind of just perk up. May I observe? I also wish to expand my horizons.
Indeed, you already said that you wish to serve me as it stands. I can find some use for you, especially whatever it is going on with your face. I think that perhaps... Have you ever considered that you may want a new one?
God has crossed my mind.
Yes, I could definitely use your face on something else. Certainly.
It's terrifying, isn't it?
Yes, but more uncomfortable. It's not always about the fear that gets them. Sometimes you have to deal with making them uncomfortable beforehand. It would be a very good aesthetic for my new operation room. Trust me, we can find one that will suit your body very well. I will even have an array picked out for you.
Alright, I'll be looking forward to this.
Good.
But more to the point, Garulda's disappearance, an act or not, why would she flee?
My understanding of how her powers work. She requires a host, and as long as the host is still alive, she cannot recreate herself in another. It is but a simple matter of putting the host in danger and threaten of, I believe the term is banishment. But also there are things that possibly could be done to, unbanish, as it were. But first I require the host.
The host to live or to die?
Well, isn't that what I would like to experiment on?
I would rather not have her suddenly reappear and attempt to assert herself again.
The difference is if we are in a controlled situation, such as my new abode, I can control Garulda. She is not powerful. She surrounds herself with power. Without that, she is nothing.
Interesting. Not certain why you think that we would be able to find this boy more effectively than any of your own people.
Because it is a matter of you caring, and me having other things to do.
To the point. So, out of character, I just want to understand what he was just saying, because I feel like I may have gotten mixed up on the grammar. Was he saying that Gerulda is basically trapped until she gets her current host killed, or that she needs her current host to stay alive, so she's hiding so that doesn't happen?
It's a little of both. So what
it's like she's using him to recuperate.
Right, exactly.
But if she dies, there's not really too much of an ill effect on her, other than she comes out a little weaker, but she can get somebody else.
Right. But there are ways, and what he's speaking of is things that he might be able to do to change that scenario, where maybe we can pull her out without killing, or maybe we could kill and then also kill her, right? Like, he's saying that he can make that happen.
Cool.
But it requires him to do it, in his mind.
Well, what a shock.
So he kind of like, he looks anticipated at you guys.
I suppose if that's necessary.
I'm in.
Aye, very well. Then I think that we have an accord. For you, it will be information and data to help get you started in the line of work that I may conduct. Perhaps can even speak of an apprenticeship. And for you, a new face. One selected from dozens of candidates to be the most pristine.
May I also participate in what we do to this boy?
Yes, of course. I will set up an observation ring.
Thank
It will
you
be
so much.
quite informative.
I look forward to it earnestly.
Does Jericho agree? And yeah. And then I think he says, very well, then. You are dismissed. I will be here, awaiting your return.
All too kind.
The pleasure was
Come
mine.
along. Dreg. Han.
Thank you.
Back up to his feet.
Yeah. And two of you exit. I assume go find Aelin.
Alright, here's first off we need to do, okay? We don't tell Aelin shit.
Look,
Damn.
as much as I'm sure you're excited about the idea of learning whatever it is that the orc can teach you, I'm also very excited about the orc not learning anything that he might be able to use to further his own control.
That's why tonight we kill him. You know where he's going to be?
All right, solid.
We
Why
set
are
up
we telling Aelin that? I assumed you would be all excited to get your science project done.
Yeah, well, what I mean is that if they have to kill the boy, she might be against it.
Well, probably, but
she's also probably going to be against us even handing him over.
Well, I'm not sure how excited I am with the idea of handing him over either. Again, I'm not sure what we're going to get out of that.
Gerulda.
Maybe. He said she's still recovering right now. Just forcing her back out and then slaying her that way seems simple enough. Then we can have Aelin revive the boy.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, she'd be only too enthusiastic to do that once the necessity was given to her.
However, if we give the boy to Doc Manic, we'll earn his trust. And we'll be and he'll have his guard down.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I could just turn you invisible entirely while you fling spells from anywhere. Right, you weren't at the inn. I don't think getting him to lower his guard is going to be quite as difficult as you might think, although admittedly I don't really know Orcish physiology. Do they have vulnerable points? Does cutting the throat
Well,
do
let's
anything?
check, and then I take out a third smut book. All right, so let's examine them carefully.
Let's find Aelin. You handle your research.
Got it.
So, I think that as the two of you head off to find Aelin, Farron and Obek, what are you guys doing with the rest of your time? I know you're headed back, but I don't want to skip you here. What's the montage look like between Farron and Obek having a little bit of free time to kind of just maybe go around the city or maybe, you know, relax a little bit? Obviously that's kind of hard to do in behind enemy lines, but you have that opportunity. What does it look like? Okay, good.
Making my way downtown,
Good.
walking fast, zombies about, and I'm homebound.
Dragging my feet, leaving scratch marks all over the road.
Okay, so we see the montage of Farron and Obek just kind of traveling along, you know, doing normal things that one would do in an occupied city. So then I think if there's nothing particular, yeah, exactly. There's nothing in particular that you guys are doing.
Oh my god, I love that.
Perhaps it's a moment to head back over to Morella, who has an enemy now.
Indeed.
So
over to the screen.
No, you're right here. Just zoom in on her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Why did the turn order pop up?
Well, I mean,
Why indeed?
Reasons?
it's probably
Come on, Brian. I know you ain't that dumb.
It's probably because I need Morella to roll me initiative, but also a perception check to see if you can if you get surprise rounded or not.
Oh, thank goodness. At least Fern and Obek are safe having their stroll downtown.
Yep. Where's my perception roll?
No surprise attacks tonight.
Holy shit. Alright,
Except
beat a
that
9. It's not hard.
There's a surprise attack right
So
there.
there is going to be a surprise round. So let's go ahead and roll
Correct.
initiative.
Alright. At least I rolled good for initiative. So I got that going for me.
It's only going to
Yeah.
matter whether or not it gets 2 attacks or 1 attack before you get
Yeah.
to respond.
Yep.
And it's only going to get 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, this creature, you feel the tendrils stab through you, and it's like icy cold fingers that come through you, and like they poke out of your chest. They pass all the way through you.
Mm-hmm.
And
So, I feel that my AC would be lower because I am trying to be incognito, and I don't have my shield equipped.
Okay.
I think that makes sense,
all
right?
He gets advantage anyway, just FYI.
Yeah. I know, but it's still high AC, but just not as high of AC.
Mhm.
So it's 18.
Nope. He
Which
missed.
is 23.
Oh well, a 23 does hit. Yeah, sorry, it does have advantage. So yeah, he hits you and he deals 13 psychic damage to you.
Indeed.
And it is then your turn. You turn around and you see this creature, which I'll make him a little bit bigger so you can see him properly.
Indeed.
And then even here, we'll just do this.
Yep. What's that movie that I'm thinking of?
Godzilla versus Mothra.
No, Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
God, I never realized what the fuck was up with Morella's face.
He's angry.
That's why she has rage as a mechanic. So, Obviously, I think equipping her shield as her action, and then
So remember,
bonus
you're in this alleyway. You can move still. Like you could run out into the street if you wanted to.
man, fuck that. I ain't going out in the street.
Okay. So you pull out your
So-
shield and bring it up to protect you.
Yep. I'm going to use my bonus action to rage.
Okay.
I'm going to spend an action surge, and then I'm going to attack this creature.
Hack away.
All right. Okay. So here we go. Here's the first one.
See if you can knock it prone.
Here's the second one.
All right. The first one misses.
Yep.
The second one, your spear passes right through the creature, but you can see where the it splits aside. Its shadowy form kind of splits open and then has to coalesce, and it appears to slow down the creature slightly when you strike it with that blow.
I'm just going to put that on for rage.
All right.
Then
Anything
that
else?
is my turn.
All right.
I can't do anymore. I've spent everything.
Okay. It is going to so because you guys are in this tight alleyway, it's going to attempt to hide from you with its bonus action.
Okay.
So it's going
I'm
to roll
assuming
stealth, and you roll
Against my
perception.
passive? Okay.
No, you're actively fighting it and looking at it, but you got to be 25.
I can't beat that even with a crit.
Okay.
So.
All right. So yeah, it's like you stab it and it kind of dissipates, and then it reappears behind you, and it lashes out at you again, gaining
With
advantage.
Okay.
I think a 19 misses.
I
with your
equipped my
right?
shield. Since I did equip my shield,
Yep.
I have 20 AC now, so even with advantage, it still doesn't hit me.
What'd you say, Farron?
Whatever happened to the buddy system?
Just,
Good.
bro, what the
That's a good
fuck?
point. Yeah, so you're able to. This is probably representative of you, like, you bash the claws.
I mean,
you bash the claws and they kind of dissipate, so they don't touch you, and maybe you like take a stutter step back, and it misses you. But it is your turn.
yes. So,
Also, it's now on this side of you.
yeah, I'm gonna just keep on stabbing away at this
All
creature.
right, stab away at it.
1, 2.
All right, both of those are solid hits, striking the creature, and you hear like this very faint, like, it's almost like a lot of wind escaping from something. And
Yeah.
those are solid hits, causing it some concern.
Cool.
And now, since we're at the top of the order, I'm going to make another roll.
Oh boy.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Someone may or may not be informed that this is going on, and we'll see what that does next time. So this creature's turn. It's going to again kind of fade into the shadows, and then it's going to try and come from above you. But you get a perception check.
All right.
You can beat
Okay.
that one.
I can. It's unlikely, but I can.
Uh-oh.
Double digits.
Oh, no.
Goddamn.
Close.
Close.
So yeah, so again, you try and track its motion where the smoke is going, and you flip around thinking it's going to come from behind you, and then it comes from above you and just slashes down at you with its claws.
All right.
Advantage.
Ooh, baby. Jesus. All right, so that's 22.
Yeah, slashing
I have
down
to
at you. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Indeed.
Because I'm not bear totem, so I don't have reason to.
Correct.
Well, it's psychic, so even then.
Even a bear totem would have problems.
Indeed.
It is your turn.
Going to tag it again. Twice. And bump. Bump.
Okay. The first one hits. The second one does not.
Okay, and As a bonus.
And
action,
you see that this thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just gonna do this a while.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. You see, the creature begins to like dissipate a little bit. It's the equivalent of injured.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
And in kind of like your the blood's like pounding in your ears, and kind of like beyond the creature and like off in the street, you hear some shouting, but you don't have time to react to it, as the creature is going to again vanish.
Yep.
Appear behind you. Try and stab you again, but you get a perception check. You can beat a 14 for sure.
No, I can't.
No, you cannot. Yeah. So maybe this is frustrating. Maybe this is why you're raged, Morella, right? It's frustrating you because you can't lock it down. It just keeps appearing out of nowhere. In this like it's like coming out of the walls and shit. Like it's so hard to track. And it's going to attack you once more. A miss. A hard miss.
Indeed.
So yeah, again, you couldn't track it, but at least you saw some movement and were able to maybe, like duck roll out of the way in time.
Indeed.
And right about at that time, you see come running over, wielding like a butcher's cleaver. The butcher comes over. He comes running over, and he's shouting. And you see this creature kind of like looks around and sees that it's being assailed from both sides, and just vanishes in the smoke. And
you owe me your life.
And so,
unbeknownst to this man, I owe him my life. I will come as dark as ever. It's the stupidest me.
Concludes your initial combat. The butcher kind of looks up at you, and again you get that weird feeling from his eyes. And he says, "Aye, all right, lass."
Yeah. So, still raging. I'm going to use a mechanic that I have yet to use, because I'm a paladin.
Okay.
I'm going to use Divine Sense.
Okay.
And currently, because I didn't put it into my thing, I'll just read it to you real quick. As an action, I open awareness to detect such forces, fiend, celestial, or undead within 60 feet of you. I assume this man is within 60 feet of me.
Yeah, he's like right in front of you.
I know the type, if he's one of those three types. And then I can do this a number of times equal to 1 plus charisma modifier. So I just use one expended divine sense. So is this man a fiend, celestial, or undead?
Yes, 100%. Lights up.
What
like
type
a Christmas
is he?
tree.
It's a celestial.
No.
I know the type. It's
he is a fiend.
okay. So I know that he's a fiend.
Yep.
Okay, this makes it easy then. She just scoffs and spits on the ground, and she says, "Yeah, I'm fine."
And he probably says, he's like, "Aye, that's good. The shadows here, they can be quite frightful. Glad to see you're okay."
Yeah, and when he says that, she just merely points her spear towards him. "Do not fool me, demon. I know what you are."
Yeah, and I think that for like there's a moment of feigned like backing away, and then you say that, and the hands kind of drop, and he just says, "Ah, yes, it is as I suspected. What will you do, servant of God?"
That depends on your answer. Do you know the whereabouts of Anders?
Yeah, I think he says, the Holy One is easy enough to track for those of like mind. What is it you wish to know?
Where is he?
I think you see him just kind of motion behind, like just point behind you. And you turn and like through all of the city and, you know, across the great park, we see the palace that rises above like the, like on the hill back in the back of the city. And he's very clearly pointing to it and he says, where else would the king be?
She doesn't relax at this answer. If anything, she tightens her grip on her spear. And she says, it's a good answer. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
Now,
he just nods and smiles.
what are you going to do?
I think he gives like he like spreads his arms and he says, I am but a simple merchant, here to sell my wares.
You are a demon.
Yes, but that does not make my statement any less true. Do you just assume that demons are not civilized?
Civilized or not, you will try to influence the innocent.
If only with delicious cuts of rare meats, then yes, I will influence them away.
I don't know how to respond to the situation.
That's maybe why I gave it to you.
I think at this point, because I think mechanically we can say the rage has ended.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And she begins calming down a bit. She looks and she's like, so long as innocents aren't harmed.
I think he, the butcher, he says, so long as you are no druid.
He said druid?
Yeah.
Okay.
As if implying if you were a druid, you would consider the animals he butchers to be innocent.
Yeah.
That's clearly what the implication is there.
Right. Hold on. Man. I think she kind of like sighs and she doesn't let go of the spear and just keeps it pointed, and she says, the tenets of my faith demand, though, whether civilized or not, that your kind must not exist.
Okay. And I think he looks at you and he nods and he says, yes, I suppose that is so. In fact, and you see him kind of like, he like licks his finger and kind of like rubs it together and he's like, it tastes almost like Urson. Yes? I can understand your hatred for my kind. Your anger is palpable, but tell me, how closely do you follow these tenets, O daughter of Urson?
Why don't you find out? And I'm going to attempt to move closer towards this creature into, one may say, attacking range.
Yeah, so are you going to like take a step forward?
Yeah, it's a definitely like forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So you take a step forward and doesn't move. The arms are still kind of like like out to the side,
Hmm.
and he doesn't move.
Okay. So like I'm in front of this creature, correct?
Yeah, you're standing right in front of him. It would be all too easy to stab him.
Oh my god, this is the most aggravating thing. The tenets of faith. Oh man. Yeah. I'm supposed to show compassion. But demons, man, they're the sworn enemy of paladins.
Hmm.
So,
Decide.
yep, I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna strike.
Have a way.
So,
Roll your attack.
just regular attacks. Bump.
Perfect.
And I think with that, thematically, it makes some sense. A divine smite's coming its way for this issue.
Sure.
So, because it's a fiend, I'm going to roll this. So add that to the damage.
Sounds good.
So it is 33 damage on this hit.
Yeah. So you stab, and the light shines from the wound. And you see the like. There's a momentary like a not a reaction, and the butcher kind of looks down, and then looks up, and then almost gives you a sad smile and shakes their head, and you see that weird light, that presence behind their eyes fades, and the butcher drops his gaze and grabs onto the spear, and his eyes are wide with surprise as he falls backwards, bleeding out of his gut.
Okay, and it's simply, if he falls to the ground, simply stabbing in the head to ensure the kill. If he's not dead yet,
Sure.
Is what she does.
Yeah, absolutely. You end him. No
Yep.
problem.
Yeah, and with that, she just kind of... I assume this happened, like, a little in the street or in the alleyway.
Yeah, he probably, like, falls out into the street.
Yep. So, when this happens, it's definitely more of, like, understanding, like, what happened, that I just killed a individual who did not defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there might be some conflictions, but I feel that because he was a fiend above all else, he had the means to. He just chose not to. That is the rationalization she is going with. And she is going to attempt to now avoid sight from
Sure.
anything. So
Sure.
she is going to attempt to go back.